Not only are we losing the sub battle against the Commies, we're also losing it against the Philadelphia Eagles. Help us catch them. We're not that far behind as the month begins to wind down. Plus, you get more videos than, frankly, both those channels combined. Hit that sub button for even more Cowboys YouTube videos right now. Wanted to begin today's show with some talk on Tyron Smith's future. Of note, both Tyron Smith and Dorance Armstrong's contract, by the way, as well. Those contracts void today. This has been known. It is not breaking news. It is formality. Leaves a little bit of dead money that you already had accounted for on the books anyway, and they will become free agents later in March. It's just you had the fake years to keep the cap hits lower in the short term. So Tyron Smith will be a free agent. We know that. Will he play? Clarence Hill says yes, talking to 105 through the Fan, saying, quote, I don't know if Tyron's returning to the Cowboys, but I talked to Tyron's agent, and Tyron is not retiring. So he will play somewhere else here, or will play here or somewhere else next season. When he has been out there, Tyron Smith still remains a damn good offensive tackle. I don't think the run blocking is as dominant as it was at his absolute peak, but the pass protection still remains pretty darn solid. But you also know this reality. You will simply not have Tyron Smith out there for every single game. In fact, he's going to miss multiple games every season. Seems like the Cowboys figured out something down the stretch of, doing their practice plan where Smith didn't have to practice most days and kept him healthier for games. Maybe that makes Tyron feels like he can play a little bit longer, can extend his career. He's probably feeling better than he has after most years. Not best of life season, to be clear. But you also know I would like to bring back Tyron Smith, to be clear. I want him back on a cheap one-year deal with a bunch of incentives. I am fully down for that. I also know this. You have to have a better backup plan than Chuma Edoga. And on one, it'd be easy to say, well, Tyler Smith is the backup left tackle and TJ Bass is the backup left guard. That could work. At a certain point, I do want my other offensive linemen being able to train at their positions. Whether that's left tackle, left guard for Tyler Smith, I'd like to make a decision this offseason. I don't really want to have to be flipping him back and forth over and over and over again. I think that can, if not stunt, at least slow some of the developmental growth. Maybe Awesome Richards emerges. Maybe he can be a piece for you long term. Maybe it's Matt Oletzko. I'm not too sure. And then he can't stay healthy. So you need to have better depth than what you have currently under contract at that position. So do you want Tyron Smith back, assuming it is a cheap, cheapish incentive-based one-year deal? Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video. If the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and go vote. Didn't think we'd talk about this one, but I kind of got spun a little bit out of context where the Star Tribune, a Minnesota-based newspaper, said the Vikings want Smith back in 2024, but he would have to take a pay cut if he wants to return to the Vikings, which people think, oh my God, pay cut, he'll make it cut. Not sure that's 100% what's going on here. Remember, Harrison Smith is turning 35 years old. He will not be playing that much longer. He recently had a kid. I don't know if he really wants to move and, go across country for one more year. But you would be getting him reunited with Mike Zimmer. And I know there are questions on it. Here's your answer for it. I think a cap hit is very possible for Harrison Smith. His cap hit this year is $19.22 million. There's $7.8-ish million in dead cap money. His salary is $15 million, a lot more than what he made last year. And I could easily see a scenario in which Harrison Smith says, I want one more ride. I want to retire as a Viking. I'll take a pay cut. And the Vikings, I would think, would be amenable to that. If they aren't for whatever reason, well, if by some surprise Smith does get cut, the Cowboys are going to be immediately linked. Like immediately. Smith is still a solid football player. I don't think he is what he was at his peak, at his prime. I think some of the steps have been lost, but he is such a highly intelligent football player that he's around the ball when he needs to be around there. Kind of like Stephon Gilmore at corner. He lost a step, but he can still play at a pretty darn high level. The Cowboys' safety room is going to be different this year. I think Donovan Wilson fits what Mike Zimmer wants to do, as long as those guys aren't making mental mistakes. Zim's not going to take mental mistakes. But the physicality that Wilson brings, Zim will like that. Malik Hooker, he didn't say his name much as a single high safety. Not a bad thing. Not a great thing necessarily either. And then there are young guys, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas. I'm curious how Dallas addresses safety, if at all. I don't think Jaron Kearse will be back, but maybe Zim does want a bigger impact piece. How do you guys know how much I love safeties? I'm going to have to wait and see on that one. Now, today's show is made possible by Game Time. It is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. It's easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event in your area. Maybe it's NBA. Maybe it's NHL. Maybe it'll be baseball down later on this season. Maybe it is just concert, music, whatever. Game Time has everything you need to help you save money on tickets right up to the start of the event, even an hour after it ends up starting. They've got flash deals, zone deals, sponsored deals, and the zone deals, by the way, I'm a big fan of. You pick the section, Game Time picks the seats. On average, 18% savings. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. Find tickets in the same section and row for less. Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. So download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CowboysChat for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but use code COWBOYSCHAT for $20 off. That's promo code CowboysChat at GameTime.co. Download Game Time today. The last-minute tickets, the lowest price guaranteed. From last time we were live on a show, the Bears have made 2 roster cuts. They have released safety Eddie Jackson and offensive lineman Cody Whitehair. 2 players that I think, relatively speaking, we're a little bit more familiar with. We've heard those names before. They've had some Pro Bowls, etc. Could they make sense for Dallas? Short answer is, Eddie Jackson, that 2018 magical campaign, man, it was not great. It was fairly rough this past year. The PFF grades are not great. The splash plays went away, and I just think the age has begun to set in for Jackson. Maybe a scheme change could help, but all those impact plays have dried up. That's a huge red flag. Now, I think Jackson might make more sense than Cody Whitehair. The sacks allowed are fine. The hurries and stuff are a little bit higher. The run blocking was not very good. He does offer center guard flexibility. Again, no one else really does offensive line stuff beyond PFF. Whitehair's numbers are not very good. So the short answer is this. Both guys have fallen off pretty hard, and they wouldn't impact your comp pick formula. You probably could sign them pretty cheaply, but I don't know if Whitehair's an upgrade over TJ Bass. I don't think Jackson's an upgrade over Wanye Thomas. I'd rather ride with my cheap young guys than think the kind of declining veterans are going to fix things. I want to sign people this offseason. Don't get me wrong, I do. I want to sign up-and-comers and better players and not just, it kind of feels like more of the same. We signed Clinton Dix, and that didn't go well at all for the Cowboys. So pick a former Bear to sign. If you had to pick one of these guys, who is it? EJ for Eddie Jackson or CW for Cody Whitehair? Vote for me in the comments section right now. One more free agent name linked to Dallas is Laviska Shenault. Bleacher Report suggesting Dallas go after Shenault, saying, hey, maybe a change of scenery can help him. Here's my issue with signing Shenault, who I did like, to be clear, coming out of college. I thought he'd have a good NFL career. The thing is, I was wrong. He's bad. This is a player who flashed a little bit early in Jacksonville. I think has to be schemed for to get better touches in his hands. You kind of saw it to a certain extent back in 2020, where Shenault was more impactful in Jacksonville. But his numbers have fallen off a cliff every single season. Maybe a bit better in 2021, but the yards didn't go up much when they're seeing. He's averaging, he's like a 10-yard per catch guy. That's actually not a very good figure. And as bad as the Panthers, receiving core was, Shenault couldn't get on the field. That's a real red flag for me. Like, who is he better than on your roster right now? He ain't better than CeeDee Lamb. He ain't better than Cooks. He ain't even better than Gallup, who I'm going to cut still either way. He's not better than Tolbert. He's not better than I think Kevon Turpin brings you more juice. Like, if you're going to scheme things and scheme touches, wouldn't I scheme it for the fast guy in Turpin? He doesn't bring his team's value either. So like Shenault, I really wanted it to be good, but it hasn't happened yet. I'm out on him as a Cowboys option. So before we go on this video, name a free agent who you want the Cowboys to sign. Any player in the comments section right now.